Your Excellency, Sir Rodney Williams, Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda, Honorable Gaston Brown, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, members of Cabinet, members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Mr. Andrew Hoare, Head of Fortescue Maritime System and Green Shipping, Mr. Darwin Telemark, General Manager, Antigua Port Authority, senior officials, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is a privilege to welcome you aboard Fortescue Green Pioneer. Welcome to the future, the world's first ammonia-powered vessel and a powerful demonstration of what the future of sustainable shipping can be. This vessel represents the type of bold, science-driven innovation that is essential as the world transitions to cleaner, safer, and more resilient energy systems. For us here in Antigua and Barbuda, a small developing nation on the front lines of climate change, this vessel carries specific relevance. Our national development and our long-term resilience depends on our ability to understand and engage, and I would add, develop emerging technologies, especially those that directly impact our oceans, maritime transport, and the blue economy. The partnership that brings us here today, the Office of the Prime Minister, the Antigua Port Authority, Antigua Department of Maritime Services and Merchant Shipping, our team here at the Center of Excellence for Oceanography and the Blue Economy at UE Five Islands Campus, and most importantly, our partners, Fortescue. This partnership highlights our shared commitment to positioning Antigua and Barbuda as a regional leader in sustainable ocean development. Over the next several days, students, educators, policymakers will have the opportunity to come aboard and see firsthand how clean energy maritime technology works. For many young people, this will be their first encounter with the future of global shipping, and perhaps the spark that shapes a career in engineering, material science, physics, chemistry, environmental science, or the blue economy. This visit is not just a showcase. It is an investment in awareness, in education, in the next generation of Caribbean innovators. And so tonight, when you're in the gangway, if you look up, you will see the CHOGM 2026 flags. So CHOGM is coming, and we hope that we can challenge and engage Fortescue to play a big role in CHOGM coming up. Please, a round of applause. So on behalf of University of the West Indies, the Center of Excellence for Oceanography and the Blue Economy, I welcome you once again. And now I will give the podium to Mr. Andrew Hoare, Director of Maritime Services here at Fortescue.
Your Excellency, the Governor General, Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished guests, and everybody here, friends. With your permission, I'll observe protocol and not attempt to read every distinguished name present. We're deeply honoured by your presence this evening. I normally read without script. Last time I did that, my 2-minute speech became 26 minutes and was laced with stupid jokes about cricket and English and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to stick slightly on script today, which I promise will try to make it as interesting as I can. But there are some important messages I'd like to convey. But first of all, thank you all for the generosity of your attendance this evening. The gentleman standing here in the blue suit needs no introduction. Darwin, thank you very much for making this happen today. It is a privilege to bring the Green Pioneer to Antigua and Barbuda, a nation that understands the sea not as a backdrop, but as identity, a livelihood, and the future. The Green Pioneer is the world's first ocean-going vessel powered by ammonia, a green fuel. Bringing her into operation required new safety frameworks, new technical standards, and close cooperation with regulators around the world. In effect, helping to change the rules so that zero carbon fuels can move from theory into practice. She's not simply a demonstrating technology. She has helped drive regulatory and operational change across the maritime system. Later this year, we intend to go further, deploying large Newcastle-Max bulkers, bigger than the cruise ships that we can see to our left here tonight, in our own supply chains from Australia to China, capable of operating on green ammonia, moving from demonstration to scale and starting to haul our annual 200 million tonnes of iron ore on green fuels. We have been deeply impressed by the practical steps St. John and Antigua are already making to position St. John as a future energy hub, developing shore power, green fuels, and the foundations of zero-emission shipping. For a small island state, sustainability is never theoretical. It's visible, it's measurable, it's necessary. Later this year, Antigua and Barbuda will host the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, as earlier described. CHOGM brings together nations large and small, bound by shared principles of cooperation and the rule of law. You will notice that the CHOGM flags are indeed flying. That was more of a feat to make that happen than the Amona itself on the ship today. And that is deliberate, because what CHOGM represents, partnership across borders, equality of voice, collective decision-making, is exactly what the maritime sector needs at this moment. Shipping is a global industry. The rules that govern it are not and should not be written in any one capital. They are agreed collectively at the International Maritime Organization. There, a small island state carries the same vote as a major economy. That matters. The IMO Net Zero framework is not about one country leading the transition. It is about all countries agreeing to move together so that ambition cannot be undercut and so that those most exposed are not left behind. For island nations, that is not an abstract policy debate. It is about resilience. It is about sovereignty. It is about ensuring that the trade routes that connect you to the world do not endanger the waters that define you. Antigua and Barbuda chose its own path as an independent nation. Today, continuing to shape global maritime standards is another expression of that independence, helping write the rules rather than having them written around you. We brought the Green Pioneer to the Caribbean not because we believe we have all the answers. We are here because serious progress is made in serious places, and this region is so evidently serious about climate leadership. Prime Minister, as you prepare to welcome the world for CHOGM, we look forward to working with you at the IMO, ensuring that small states are not simply present in the discussions around the pace of the energy transition, but actively shaping it and setting that pace. Before I close, I'd like to recognise the stellar crew of the Green Pioneer. This shop is not only their place of work, but their home. And this evening we are gathered on their basketball court. So remember that. So thank you very much again for your good nature, good humour, and for welcoming us so generously into your space. I also bring warm wishes from our chairman, Dr. Andrew Forrest, founder and executive chairman of Fortescue. He is currently in London at board meetings and was unable to attend. From one pioneer to another, he understands firsthand what it is like to be a single voice in a complex and challenging world. And he sends his respect and encouragement to the people and leadership of Antigua and Barbuda. The Green Pioneer sails under many flags tonight. Alongside and flying the flag of Antigua and Barbuda, she shares in partnership with this nation, with all those determined to shape the future, not simply inherited. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew. So we heard about IMO, so now I will invite His Excellency Ambassador Dwight Gardner, Director, Registrar General of Antigua and Barbuda, Department of Marine Services and Merchant Shipping, also known as ADAMS, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Antigua and Barbuda to the International Maritime Organization. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Bell, for a kind introduction. Your Excellency, may I adopt the protocols previously established, sir? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant evening to all of you. Today, I wear several hats that, though different, are becoming more interconnected. As the Director of ADAMS, the Maritime Administration of Antigua and Barbuda, and a Commissioner of the Port Authority Board, I am proud to welcome a vessel that represents the future of shipping. As the permanent representative of Antigua and Barbuda to the International Maritime Organization, I see more than a ship. I see real progress in the global effort to reduce emissions from maritime transport. At the IMO, we are navigating through one of the most important transitions in shipping history. The conversation has moved from should we decarbonize to how fast we can do it responsibly. The IMO strategy is clear: to reach net zero greenhouse gas emissions from shipping by 2050, while ensuring the transition is fair and inclusive for all countries, including small island developing states like Antigua and Barbuda. The presence of the Fortescue Green Pioneer here today as the world's first ammonia-powered vessel exemplifies this transition from carbon-intensive fuels to green fuels in action. And while we at the IMO are working on the global fuel standard and the necessary pricing mechanisms to ensure an equitable green transition, Fortescue leads in engineering innovation. By promoting green ammonia and alternate power sources, this vessel demonstrates that the green corridors discussed at the IMO can and should extend across the whole Caribbean region. For Antigua and Barbuda and the other ocean nations, your visit shows that when industry leads, technology advances, and countries work together, we can make shipping cleaner and protect our oceans for future generations. To the Fortescue team, your work gives us real confidence at the IMO that the challenges can be solved. Our duty as regulators is to make that the transition is safe, fair, and inclusive for everyone. May your stay in our Twin Island paradise be fruitful and rewarding, and may this visit mark the start of a long green chapter in our maritime history. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. I now invite Her Excellency, Ambassador Relita Camacho Thomas, to give us a few remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Branson, and good evening. Your Excellency, Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda, may I request your permission to observe the protocols already established. Thank you very much. Good evening, Prime Minister, ministers, ambassadors, colleagues, friends, team at Fortescue. Thank you very much for having us here. My role as ambassador of climate change is very daunting. As we all know, the pace of climate emissions is escalating at a rate that is unsustainable with our survival. And as we look at the emissions trajectory globally, we are on a path to a 3+ degree world that would lead to unacceptable, catastrophic change in our ecosystems, environment, and our way of life. The type of ambitious, forward-thinking, groundbreaking technology that is on demonstration here today is what is required to stem this unprecedented rise in GHG emissions and get us back to a pathway that is sustainable with our national development goals, objectives, our social, cultural, and traditional livelihoods and activities. And so this evening, I am very happy to see on demonstration in a real, tangible way the type of action that we have been speaking about for the last 15 years. This is what we are requiring, this is what we've been asking for, and this is a demonstration of the type of private sector involvement that we need to have move forward. It is possible, It will require forward thinking, collaboration, ambition, and breaking ceilings that we know exist. However, at the same time, we must be conscious that this transition needs to be just and sustainable. And therefore, colleagues, thank you very much for being here. This is a very happy moment for me to see this ship, and we look forward to future actions, demonstrations, and the build out and scale up of these types of actions, not only internationally, but at a scale and with the technology where SIDS and small island states like us and our port can access technologies so that we can keep on pace with the economic development and the maritime sector that we so depend on and integrate in. Thank you very much, colleagues, and I look forward to a very successful evening and to interacting with Fortescue. Thank you very much.
And now I call on Mr. Darwin Telemark. My phone rang about a week ago. Dr. Bell, I need to talk to you. There's a vessel that we need to get to Antigua, and you need to help me organize it. So this is the man behind the show, Mr. Telemark.
Governor General, good evening. I'd like your permission to accept the protocol that's already been established. Prime Minister, good evening. Dr. Bell is correct, but I only called him after I called the Minister of the Port, the Prime Minister, to get his permission. So I want to make it very clear. His response was very automatic. I don't have a speech, but I'll say three things real quick. First, Antigua has continued to show up in the world in a dynamic way, and today that represents a further example of the commitment made to ensure that we are part of this global effort. There are many times when small islands end up being the recipients of the outcome of global realities. We are helping to shape it, and we have two dynamic people sitting in front of me, Dr. Dwight Gardner and Ambassador Roulette Thomas, who together with Wayne Michael and a few others who lobby at the IMO for these sort of events, we are shaping a future of the world, and Antigua continues to play a big role in that. And congratulations to Antigua. I stand here at the Antigua Port Authority as the manager, and every day 3 or 4 or 5 cruise ships comes to our dock. And as they dock here, you can see the black smokes coming through the tanks. And what this ship represents is that those black smokes can go away. We can replace that with something else. In some cases, we don't have the capacity to do so, and this is an example of what ingenuity and partnerships can give. And as we, a small island, try to shape our future, we're looking for partnerships to do so. So that's the third thing that we want to do. Finally, I'd like to thank the folks at Fortescue for this visit. But even before this visit, I want to say publicly that a number of times when I have had to travel to places to have meetings, it's because Fortescue has funded those trips. They recognize the passion delivered by Ambassador Gardner at the IMO, other players within the group from Antigua, and they want Antigua in the mix. We represent a broader picture than Antigua because I also chair the Port Management Association of the Caribbean, of which we are speaking of the broader context of the region. And in that capacity, this ship here today with Fortescue is not just an example of what's possible when small islands actually emerge and push themselves forward. It represents a region looking for a path in the future, finding the right partnerships, and being led, I must say, by dynamic leadership. The Minister of the Port have trusted us three in many instances in different areas to partner the path for Antigua in this space. And I want to say that I believe that the future of the green discussion for Antigua looks extremely excellent, thanks to the leadership and guidance of all the partners that are doing the work. Let's continue to work hard for it, and thank you to Fortescue for all you've done. Welcome to the most innovative, creative, and exciting port in the Caribbean, the Antigua Port Authority. We hope you have a wonderful stay. Thank you so much for the effort you've made, and you've done it free, and guess what? We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, I now invite the Honorable Gaston Brown, PM of Antigua and Barbuda, to give a few brief remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bell. Acknowledge Sir Rodney Williams, our distinguished Governor General, my colleague, Minister the Honorable Chet Green, and other members of Parliament who may be here. I think I see Michael Joseph. And forgive me if I miss any other parliamentarian. I certainly acknowledge the presence of the various ambassadors, to include Ambassador Dwight Gardner, Ambassador Camacho, and of course all of the others. I also acknowledge the presence of Darwin Telemack, the man who made today's event possible. And I certainly acknowledge the presence of the team from Fortescue. I'm very pleased to be participating in this welcoming ceremony in which we are welcoming the first ammonia green-powered ship in the world. And this indeed is a very interesting development, one in which the future looks extremely bright for renewables. As you know, Antigua and Barbuda has been at the forefront of the climate fight. We have literally fought in every single fora you can think about, calling upon countries to reduce emissions, while at the same time fighting for a transition, a very quick transition, so that we can protect our various spaces, our marine, terrestrial, as well as the atmospheric space. So it is important, though, that as we seek to transition, that we are able to transition to viable, affordable, and certainly clean renewable technologies. In the case of Antigua and Barbuda, our transition has been relatively slow, but we intend to accelerate. About a year ago, we introduced an LNG plant, and that plant has the capacity to produce up to about 40 megs of power. That is considered to be, I'd say, a transition program in which we are transitioning into renewables and using LNG as a transition fuel for the next decade. But as I look at these canisters here that are actually holding the green ammonia, I can see us literally transitioning the storage of LNG to ammonia into the future. So whereas you'll be utilizing it for shipping, we're hoping that you'll also have a land-based application, one that is affordable and one that will even help us to drive down the cost of energy and to protect our people from the vagaries in the prices of fossil fuel energy. But certainly, the technology itself is extremely exciting. To be using ammonia and at the same time having the type of technology in which you can actually extract the nitrogen from the end product. That is really exciting technology. And whereas some of us may have felt a little daunted by the lack of progress, especially with the withdrawal of the United States from the Paris Agreement, this type of development augurs well for the transition that we all hope for, that will happen as soon as possible. So Antigua and Barbuda obviously will want to be one of the early pioneers in using this fuel. We're hoping that we can also be part of the value chain. So there's no reason, for example, why we can't have our own ammonia production, green ammonia production plant here to provide bunkering for the ships as they transition from fossil fuel energy into ammonia and other renewables. So we would like to have a further discussion as we seek to strengthen the partnership with Fortescue as to how we can become part of that value chain, how we can develop bunkering facilities here so that we can also generate funds for development. I mean, our port facility, for example, we're seeking to transition it into a regional transshipment port, logistics and transshipment. And having that type of green energy available for the future ships will be very important. And I think the discussions ought to start from now. It may appear futuristic, but we can see that the technology is here. We can see that it works. In fact, I'm told that they have actually visited a number of countries in different parts of the different hemispheres. So it tells you too that the energy is safe, it is sustainable. I'm not too sure about the costs. I presume that because it's pioneer technology, it may be costly at this time. But we're looking forward to Fortescue bringing this technology to scale, and there will be a reduction in price to make it commercially viable, especially for small island states as we seek to transition into renewables. So again, a very exciting period, and we are very happy to be one of the few countries in the Caribbean to have had the opportunity to host this ship, this very exciting piece of technology. I want to take this opportunity to invite your principal and certainly the other senior members of the organization to join us later this year when we host the program. And it would be good if you would have the ship here, because they say seeing is believing. I would love to be in a position to literally host my colleague heads here, or at least to bring them on a brief visit so they can see the technology at work. So again, a special invitation to you, Excellency, and to your principal, your chairman, and all of the others to be back here in Antigua to make program even more exciting. As I would have indicated to you, one of the initiatives will be a business forum, and I would want us to also focus on the green energy opportunities that will become available, and for us to start to at least plant in the minds of these wealthy investors the need for them to invest in these renewable energy products so that we can accelerate the transition into renewables and to become carbon neutral. Imagine at the state level, probably by 2040 in the case of Antigua and Barbuda, and certainly based on the IMO objective to have a shipping industry globally that will meet that 2050 transition. So again, I hope that you will take up the invitation and that we'll see you here early November of this year when we host the program. So once again, I want to thank you very much. Thank you for hosting us, and it's an absolute pleasure to participate in this ceremony and to celebrate this pioneer technology. And again, we look forward to an even closer relationship going forward. Thank you very much.
Yes, we can do some tours. Okay, so just speak with Andrew. He can give you some tours. You can perhaps see the engines that power this vessel. So thank you so much and good evening.